Hello everybody, in today's video I'm going to walk you through how I solve the Megamorphix. Now this is probably a select video that very few will watch, but it will be helpful to those very few because Tripoom just mass produced a whole bunch of these in this color scheme and this shape as well as another shape, and I've got a bunch of requests from people that are receiving them or do have them already, wanting to know specifically mostly about the last center, the hidden parity, and the entire last layer including 4x4 parity. So I'm going to go through the whole thing, but I'm going to concentrate mostly on those areas, so I will be kind of going through the first 5 centers and the edges pretty quickly. I also do expect that you know how to solve a 3x3 master Morphix, a regular 3x3, and a 4x4 regular cube. So let's go ahead and scramble it up. Okay, so I think I've got a pretty decent solve. So the one thing that I do know is in a center, it always consists of 2 colors, one on one side and one on the other. And I know that if I was to build, say, the green and white center, the opposite center on the bottom will have the other 2 colors of the cube. In this case, it is red and yellow. Just like any other one, if I had the, the yellow and green one, I know that the other side is going to be white and red. So we have to keep that in mind so we know which ones to do. I'm going to pick the white and green, so I'll just put this together. This is basic 4x4 stuff, putting together edges. So I got the white and green. I'm looking for green and white. So we can add those together. So green and white, so I know the other side is red and yellow. Match them up. Bring them in. So I know that this one goes here, so the yellow needs to be on this side of it, which it is. Put it there. So now I've got these opposites done. So a common color between these would be yellow and white. So let's put the yellow and white between it. You can put it anywhere actually. So I know that I've got to put the white on this side, so let's actually just do that real quick. Okay, let's align those. Now, here's something to be mindful of, and I only know this because of my color scheme. Now, you can see that this lines up with this because they're in a V pattern, and so does this. But if I move it like this, and like that, they also line up. Now, I know because I've done this one so many times that mine lines up like this, and if you have the same color scheme, that's how you should line yours up as well. However, if you have a different color scheme, I forgot to mention, you probably should have checked that before starting which way they go. But you can also use a corner, so you could find the the white, red, and yellow corner, put it here, and then you could see the rotation if this is right or wrong. So we're gonna keep going. We got the white and red already matched up. Let's just match this other one up here and put it in. Now we have the green and red to come here. And I know it's the green and red because I can see this is obviously the green side, and the red side, and it shares with the green side. Okay, so I guess we can align this. And now we're on to our last center. So before I get on to the last center, I'm just going to align all of the centers so they're all facing each other. Now I want to put in these bottom corners. And the reason for this is because there's a hidden parity that you have to check for, that if you don't, you won't know it's there until the end, and you have a 50% chance of getting it, and it is easily the worst parity that you can get, because what'll happen is your whole cube will be solved except for 2 corners. And it is possible on a cubic regular 4x4 to swap only 2 corners like that, but if you do it on a super cube, it's going to wreck a lot of your work. So what would happen if you ended up not checking for this parity and you just happened to be unlucky and got that 50% chance of getting it, at the end you would have to completely destroy your top layer, and that's really it's time consuming. So we're going to go ahead and put this in. So let's get the white one in. Again, this is just basic 3x3 stuff now, so I'm not really going to explain too much of it. Put this one in. You don't have to put these in so the colors match, but I do anyways, and mostly it's just because habit, because there's a lot of things I realize about some of these tougher puzzles after a few solves. Like, this doesn't have to be rotated perfectly, but I do it anyways. just because, like I said, that's the way I did it before I realized you didn't have to, and I just got in the habit of doing it. So now we've got these. So what we're looking for in a top layer is having one corner that's in its solved position and 3 of them that are not. That way we can cycle 3, because with algorithms you can cycle 3 corners around, but you cannot cycle 2. And that's the problem, because with a supercube, say for instance let's see. Okay, here's a prime example. You can see that this one is in place because all of these colors match, so this corner is in place. This one is in place because this is the yellow side. This one is not, and this one is not. So this is what's going to happen now. If I go ahead and build this whole top layer while not moving these corners, because that's how we're going to do it. We're going to build the last center while not moving these corners. Well, you can, but you know, when you're starting out, you shouldn't, because you might lose your place and then end up with parity. So what I would, you know, if you took these 2 pieces here and moved them here with cycling algorithm, so this was there, these 2 would be correct. And then if you adjusted these 2, so you had this whole center done with these 2 corners in and these 2 out, that's what's going to end up when you're done solving the entire cube. So what you need to do is turn it until 1 is in and 3 are out, or sometimes when you're done your last centers, all 4 will be in, and that is also ideal. So we can see here that we have 1 in, this is out, this is out, and this is out. So this is ordeal, and it just happens to work out good because these 2 pieces here are already solved and they're in position, because this is the yellow side, this is the green side, so these 2 are in, which means I only have to swap these 2. However, if you turn this 180 degrees, you can see now that this one is in, this one is out, this one's out, and this one is out. And that's what I mean by 50% chance of getting this, because you can have it, you can build it 180 degrees off of where it's supposed to be and still have this puzzle solvable. But if you put it 90 degrees out, you can't. So it has to be here or here. And so if you looked and you say, okay, this one's in, this one's out, this one's out, this one's out. Oh, okay, well, this here doesn't line up with this. So I'd have to move every single one of these pieces. If you notice, this is what I always look for. Most of the time you're going to find a 1x2 block. And if you're looking and you see the 1x2 block, you see that 1's in and 3 are out, and this, you're like, oh, if this could just be like that, you know, over here, because it would be solved. You can, because if 1 is in and 3 are out, you can just do a 180 turn. And that is one of the rules that makes it pretty easy. So we just need to swap these 2 now. So the solid color in these 2 is yellow. There's more yellow than green. So we look up here, there's a yellow piece. If it just happened to be like this, you would turn it to a yellow piece. You can turn this, you know, now that you know 1 are in and 3 are out, because you're not going to destroy anything by turning it. So what this algorithm is going to do is it's going to swap this piece for this piece. This piece goes up to here, and this piece comes down to here. So the common one is the yellow. So let's put this yellow one up here because we're going to swap 1 for 1. So what we're going to do is do an algorithm. I'm going to teach it to you. It will be in the description. It's going to put this up here, this here, and then this comes here. I know this is being a little bit picky with the, telling you how to do this with the walkthrough, but it's necessary. Otherwise, it's good to understand it. Let's put it that way. So this comes here, this comes here, this comes here, and the algorithm goes R, U prime, L prime, U, R prime, U prime, L, U. And you can see that happened. These all 3 of these switch. So if we do it again, we can see that this one will come down here and be solved because it's diagonal from this. This one will come here and be solved because they're just switching 1 for 1. And this one will come back up here and solve that. So let's do it again. R, U prime, L prime, U, R prime, U prime, L, U. So now we've got all the centers done, we can start doing edges. I'm going to do it pretty quick because I spent a lot of time on that. What I do is search around the cube. You can do edges however you want. This is basic 4x4 stuff now. I find one that's already in, I slice it over. If that brought in a small yellow, put a big yellow down here. That also brings in a small red, put a big red down here. slice back. That happened to solve this too, and what I want is 3 that are solved in the middle layers and 1 that are not. So let's bring in one that's not. Okay, so I can see I've got a small red or a big red or a small white. So I can put either one of them here. So I'm going to pick the big white because it's already here. As I slice this out, it kicks out a small green. Put a big green down here. Bring it back. Again, that solved a lot because a lot of the time you'll find that things just start solving themselves because there's so many of the same piece. So here we have a small yellow. Put a big yellow down there that kicks out a small green. I need the big green to be up here. And that solves all the edges. All solved, all solved, solved, solved. Now we solve it just like a 3x3. So I'm going to go through really quickly and solve this like a 3x3 Megamorphix. Just because I think that it's pretty simple to solve this. And then we'll concentrate on the top layer. Right, okay. Put the corners in. Little F2L action. I find F2L on this pretty easy for the single piece, the single colored corners, but not for the other ones. All right. So let's go here. And then this can come here. All right, top layer. Let's take a look at what we got here. Now, just like in a a 3x3, you can have the dot in the center, and then you can have an L or a line or a full cross. In this case, we're trying to get the full cross. But on a 3x3, I guess I'll use the 4x4 here, you can always tell if something's upside down because there's 2 colors. Well, on here, I have no idea to know if this is upside down or not. But I do see that we have a dot. There's nothing attached that's correct. So what I would do is do an algorithm. So I do my F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime. Now we can see, it may look like we have an L, but we don't because this is not flush. This is not flush, so we disregard this. All we have is this one single piece. So what we're going to do is turn it like this, and the single piece is in, so we're going to rotate these around until some of the stuff starts making sense. So you can see that we just go R, U, R prime, U, R, 2U, R prime, and that is our soon algorithm. That brings us to a line. It may look like we have a cross, but we don't because you can see it. This is not lined up, and neither is this. So we just look at what's correct. That is it. We don't get confused by these colors matching up. So we have a line. So we do an alteration of what I just did. Now we go F, R, U, R prime, U prime, F prime. And again, you can see that we've just got the one piece, and we just basically all we're doing is looking at what is correct. We don't look at anything else. What is correct? This is the only piece right now that's correct, not this one. And we just do what we usually would. And trust me, you just keep doing the algorithms that you're supposed to do. So like when you have one in, you go R, U, R prime, U, R, 2U, R prime. As you can see, we've got this again. So we do it again. That's all we do. We don't get confused by this L that's not really an L because they don't match up. R, U, R prime, U, R, 2U, R prime. So now you can see that this is correct, but sometimes we get a parity like this. So this is a parity that we can get. If you follow the rules of having the L, the dot, or that one piece and then do soon, you'll always end up with either this or a completely solved layer. So what we need to do from here is do what Super Antonio Vivaldi would call the Red Bull algorithm. And that's the same algorithm that flips these 2 edges on a regular cube. I know there's a few of them, but I use the same one that Super Antonio Vivaldi does. Now, unlike when we're doing centers and we're moving both of these, we can't do that. When we're doing like an R2, we have to only move the middle slice. So move this one back. All right, so let's go through the algorithm. You want to hold it so the parity is towards you, and you want to do this algorithm. R2, B2, U2, L, U2, R prime, U2, R, U2, F2, R, F2, L prime, B2, R2. So we can see that this flattened it out, but now we've got this that's turned around. This is actually pretty easy to deal with. All you have to do is go R, U, R prime, U, R, U, R prime, U, and you just keep doing this over and over and over again until it solves itself, as you can see. So I know that this corner here is in. Now it's a good thing that we checked for that parity, because if we didn't, we would have 2 in and 2 out right now. So what we want to do is hold the one that's in on the right closest to us, and we want to cycle these around. So the algorithm for this is U prime, R, U, L prime, U, R prime, U prime, L. So that cycled these. Let's do it one more time. U, R, U prime, L prime, U, R prime, U prime, L. Okay, so we've got this, which looks like another parity, but it's not. It just needs to be spun. So again, just like that last algorithm, we hold this here and we do the corner rotation algorithm. So we go R prime, D prime, R, D. R prime, D prime, R, D. You have to do it twice. R prime, D prime, R, D. Twice for one full cycle, which you can see is turned. Now we've got this all messed up. But what we need to do is turn another corner like this, and we just rotate this one until this one fixes itself. So R prime, D prime, R, D. 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 And then just realign it. So there you go. It's a bit long for a walkthrough, more of a tutorial, but I covered the things that people requested the most. I hope it helped. I'll see you on my next